Hey. So I did a 12-minute video earlier, and at about the midpoint I misstated something completely. It was a stream of thought on nutrition, but there are things that I know, but the dyslexia, the brain injury, will misstate. Like, I can't say the word subscription, prescription separately. If I'm talking about magazines, it's a prescription, and if I'm talking about drugs, it's a subscription, even though intellectually I know the difference. But if I'm just talking, I say it wrong. So I misstated something nutritionally, and in rewatching the video before posting it, I was like, that won't work. And I thought about writing a caveat and saying, hey, I made this mistake in the middle of this, and that was stupid. So I deleted it, and I might come back and do the video again sometime on that subject. Anyway, I asked the hubby what I should talk about tonight, and he suggested camping. I was going to say something snarky, and I couldn't figure out a way to say it snarky but not mean. So, if you don't have something nice enough to say, don't say it at all. Do you see my hives? Do you see this? This whole section right here is all swollen and sore. It itches. It itches a lot. Anyway, I love camping. I love hiking. I have this residual self-image that if I go slow, I can get it done. Hiking. It's not true anymore. Not on a questionable day. On a really good day with a Monster Energy drink or two, having just eaten real food a couple of days in a row, yeah. On a questionable day, on a bad day, it doesn't matter how much I want to do the hike, I can't do it. I can feel myself damaging my body as I'm walking. Camping's the same way. I love camping. If I had my choice, we would go camping every weekend all summer long. The problem is the image or the concept of camping is that temperature doesn't bother me, and it's okay if it's a little wet, and I'm going to sit at the fire and I'm going to cook the whole time. And the reality of camping is I can't sit at the fire and cook anymore because that requires bending over and bending towards a fire when you have balance problems and vertigo that can cause you to spin, which means I would have to sit at a picnic table and work on a camp stove. Well, that's okay. And the reality is wind and wet chill me to the bone, and I get the shakes, and I'm in pain, and I get miserable, and I make everybody around me miserable. I'm not pleasant to be around when I'm cold and wet or hot. If it's hot and there's no air, I can't breathe, and I get really, really foul. And yeah, my mood is worse than my armpits some days. So I've been for a long time saying I want a trailer or a camper so I can go campering. Because with a trailer or a camper, I can retreat into an enclosed environment and bring my temperature back up or down or whatever it needs to be, and mess around with food and chat with whoever comes in to visit me, and then go back out and join everybody else and then go back. Right now, my idea of camping is to show up at the campsite for about 2 hours, be miserable for one of those hours, and then go to a hotel room with a nice hot bathtub. Because my friend Chris is amazing. She takes care of me. Yeah. Once we get moved, once we're solid, I want to start looking at modifying camping so that I can go camping again. But I need that temperature control because any temperature shift and my body is miserable. This is really unflattering, by the way. Okay. Really unflattering because the boobs are too damn big. Anyway, I either want we have the Jeep can't take a camper, so I want a trailer, or I want a campsite that has a controlled environment that we go to regularly, like say one of these parks that has yurts or something. I want something where the camping starts to acknowledge that I want to be there. Because years ago when we started doing camping again, it was obvious I couldn't do it, and I was like, just go, and he'd just go. Well, that's fine, except I'm stuck at home, and he's camping, and I'm not getting to go camp. And we didn't take into account there are ways to modify this so that I can go camping. Hell, a large tent that's properly set up, that has a fan somehow, or a little stove somehow. We went SCA camping a couple of times, but we had IKEA pavilion tenty things that held the moisture inside and leaked like a sieve, and I got pneumonia a couple of times. I want real. I want something that says this person needs a controlled environment to reset. I'm babbling. I like camping. I like the concept of camping. I like hanging out with friends around a fire for a couple of hours. I want to do a lot more camp cooking. These are things that are high on my list of things. But they require, I don't want to say handicap accessibility. I don't want to say that. But they do require modification towards what I can and can't do. Years ago, when I was passing out a lot, I had a doctor hand me a dish towel. Just a regular, do I have a dish towel here? We'll pretend that this napkin is a dish towel. Never mind, the nose was bleeding earlier. Hand me a dish towel and say, put it on your shoulder. Now don't drop it. Okay? Don't touch it, but don't drop it. And go around and do your day. Well, it's impossible because you bend down to pick something up and it falls. What he was trying to do was impress upon me not to bend at the waist. Because when I bend at the waist, I set off the it's called POTS, postural orthostatic. What does POTS stand for? It's a postural hypotension. He doesn't know what the actual initials stand for either. Basically, I stand up too fast, I pass out. I bend at the waist. I stand up, I pass out. I fall really hard. It's happened many times. I fell into the stove in Tacoma. The husband's answer for that was to rip the stove out and throw it down the stairs. I don't think he overreacted. Because if he had fallen into the stove, I probably would have had the same response. Anyway. My phone just told me that my you need to eat food alarm has snoozed. It is 7:45 because I eat at 8. 8 every 4 hours. I try to eat every 4 hours. I don't succeed. Anyway, things I want to do camping and things the husband wants to do camping aren't necessarily the same things, and we need to start working on bringing them into alignment with each other. I like camping for harvesting. I want to plan an event process. Wrong word. I want to go to the beach and I want to get clams, and then I want to smoke the clams and jar them in oil and can the clams and have clams for the rest of the year. Or crab. Or salmon. Or blackberries. Not necessarily smoked. Well, smoked blackberry jam might be good. I want to harvest. I want to go with the purpose of, okay, we're going to be there from Friday night until Sunday morning, and Saturday from about 1 o'clock when we all drag our asses out of bed until about 5 o'clock, we're all going to be picking as many huckleberries as we can. That kind of thing. I don't know what the husband wants to do other than test out gear and do photo shoots. I'm down for the photo shoots. I keep planning photo shoots. I want to do a fire photo shoot. I've wanted to do that for a while. It never gets done. I'm bitching. I really am. I want whatever house we get to have the ability to have camp gear segregated out and not in a storage locker. I want to be at the house we get to be able to have friends come over and camp in the yard. You know? It's been 10 years. 10 years. Okay, see, this is the verbal dyslexia when I'm having problems. It's annoying. What's more annoying is when I do it and some twat waffle goes, "You meant minutes." Yeah, I know what the fuck I meant. I said it wrong. Like it's a reflection of IQ. It's not a reflection of IQ, it's dyslexia. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.